I'm not wasting money on daughters. My father's voice echoed through our dining room as I stood there holding my college acceptance letter. Your brother needs that money for his MBA. You and Sophia can figure out your own education. I was 18, my sister Sophia was 16, and we just learned that our father, Vincent Crawford, CEO of Crawford Tech Solutions, had decided our futures weren't worth investing in. My name is Caroline Crawford, and this was the moment everything changed. Mom sat at the table, her face pale. Vincent, they both have excellent grades. Caroline got into Stanford. Sophia's going to need. I said no, Angela. Dad's tone was final. And if I find out you're giving them money behind my back, there will be consequences. They're women. They'll just get married and waste the education anyway. The family money goes to Marcus. He's the one who'll take over the company someday. Marcus, my younger brother by 2 years, smirked from across the table. He'd barely passed his classes but was guaranteed everything because he was the son Dad had always wanted. That night, Mom came to my room after Dad went to bed. She pressed an envelope into my hands with tears streaming down her face. I have $5,000 saved from my allowance over the years, she whispered. It's all I can give you without him finding out. I'm so sorry, Caroline. I wish I could do more. Mom, you need to leave him, I said, not for the first time. He controls everything. You don't even have your own bank account. I can't. Where would I go? I haven't worked in 20 years. And I can't leave Sophia here alone with him. She hugged me tightly. You're so smart and strong. You'll find a way. You always do. I looked at my Stanford acceptance letter on my desk. Full tuition was $60,000 a year. I had $5,000, no support from my father, and a mother who was financially imprisoned in her own marriage. I should have given up. Instead, I got angry. And anger became fuel. I spent that week researching every scholarship, grant, and financial aid option available. I appealed to Stanford's financial aid office, explaining my situation without going into detail about my father's wealth, because technically, his refusal to pay didn't change his income on paper. The financial aid officer was sympathetic but realistic. With your father's income bracket, you don't qualify for need-based aid. But there are merit scholarships. And you can take out student loans. I applied for every scholarship I could find. I wrote essays until my fingers cramped. I worked double shifts at the coffee shop where I'd been working part-time since junior year. By August, I'd cobbled together enough scholarships and loans to cover my first year at Stanford. Sophia helped me pack the night before I left. I'm going to be stuck here alone with him for 2 more years, she said quietly. What if he doesn't pay for my college either? He won't, I said honestly. But I'm going to make it so you don't need him. I promise. Stanford was incredible and terrifying. I was surrounded by wealthy students whose parents paid their tuition without blinking, while I worked 3 part-time jobs to cover living expenses my loans didn't include. I studied computer science and business, driven by a plan that had formed in my mind the night Dad refused to support us. Crawford Tech Solutions specialized in enterprise software for corporations. Dad had built it from the ground up and was proud of his success. I was going to build something bigger. Something that would make his company look small. And someday, I'd be successful enough that he'd see exactly what he'd thrown away when he dismissed his daughters as worthless. My freshman roommate, Kira, noticed my exhaustion after a few weeks. You're killing yourself working this much. What's driving you? I told her my story. She listened quietly, then said something I'd never forget. The best revenge is massive success. Make him regret every word he said to you. That became my mantra. Every late night studying, every double shift, every moment I wanted to quit, I remembered those words. I called Sophia every Sunday, our secret phone date while Dad was golfing. She told me about school, about Mom's quiet sadness, about Marcus flunking his classes despite Dad's continued support. He's talking about not paying for my college too, Sophia said during my sophomore year. He says women don't need education, they need husbands. Start applying for scholarships now, I told her. I'll help you. And I'm saving money for you. Even if it's just a little each month. I'd started a small coding business on campus, building websites for local businesses. It wasn't much, but I saved every penny I could spare for Sophia's future. She was brilliant, even more than me, and I wouldn't let Dad's sexism destroy her potential. Meanwhile, I excelled at Stanford. Professors noticed my work ethic and talent. One professor, Dr. Hamilton, took me under his wing during my junior year. "You have something rare, Caroline," he said after class one day. "You understand both the technical side and the business strategy. That combination is powerful." Dr. Hamilton introduced me to people in Silicon Valley, invited me to tech conferences, and eventually connected me with a venture capitalist named Alexis Monroe. Alexis had started her own fund focused on supporting women entrepreneurs in tech. "I see myself in you," Alexis told me over coffee my senior year. "I built my career despite people telling me I couldn't. Now I help women like us prove them wrong." She asked me about my plans after graduation. I told her about my idea, a cloud-based project management platform that was more intuitive and affordable than anything currently on the market. Something that would compete directly with Crawford Tech's enterprise solutions but serve a market they'd ignored: small to medium businesses. "Your father's company focuses on big corporations, right?" Alexis asked. "Yes. He thinks small businesses aren't worth his time. That's his blind spot. And your opportunity." She leaned forward. "How much would you need to start building this?" "Realistically? 50,000 for initial development and living expenses for 6 months while I build the prototype." Alexis pulled out her phone. "I'll invest 100,000. Not as a loan, as equity. I want 10% of your company." I graduated Stanford with honors, over $100,000 in student debt, and a $100,000 investment from Alexis to start my company. I called it Apex Solutions, a name I'd chosen specifically because it would alphabetically come before Crawford in any directory. I moved into a tiny apartment in San Francisco and spent 18 hours a day coding. I built the first version of my software myself, pouring everything I'd learned into creating something better than anything Crawford Tech offered. Sophia graduated high school that same month. As predicted, Dad refused to pay for her college. But I'd saved $12,000 for her over 4 years, and she'd won enough scholarships to attend state university. "I wish I could have gotten you into Stanford," I told her when she came to visit me before starting school. "Are you kidding? You paid for my college while you were drowning in debt yourself." "You're my hero, Caroline." Mom came with Sophia to visit. It was the first time I'd seen her in a year. She looked older, defeated. Dad still controlled every aspect of her life. "I'm so proud of you, Caroline," Mom said, looking around my cramped apartment. "You did all this by yourself." "Not by myself. Sophia helped me stay motivated. And you gave me that first 5,000 when I had nothing else." "Your father doesn't know I'm here," Mom admitted. "He thinks we're shopping. If he knew I was visiting your company, he'd lose his mind that his daughter is his competition," I finished. Sophia looked at the prototype I'd been working on. "This is amazing, Caroline. It's so much easier to use than Dad's software." "That's the point. Dad's software is complicated because he charges for training and support. Mine is intuitive because I want small businesses to succeed without expensive consulting fees." Over the next 6 months, I refined the software, beta tested with small businesses, and prepared for launch. Alexis introduced me to more investors, and I raised another $200,000 in funding. By the time I was 23, Apex Solutions had 50 clients and was generating enough revenue to hire my first employee. I hired Sophia as my business development associate right after she finished her freshman year. She was brilliant at understanding what clients needed and could explain the technical features in simple terms. "Dad would die if he knew I was working for you," she said, laughing as we celebrated our 100th client. "He doesn't know I exist in the business world yet. Crawford Tech serves enterprises. We're too small for him to notice." But that was about to change. Our 100th client was a mid-sized manufacturing company that had been using Crawford Tech software for years. They switched to Apex Solutions because we were half the price and twice as easy to use. When I saw the news mention in a trade publication, "Manufacturing firm switches from Crawford Tech to upstart Apex Solutions," I knew it was only a matter of time before Dad noticed. He called me for the first time in 5 years. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he shouted the moment I picked up. "Hello, Dad. Nice to hear from you too. You're stealing my clients." Dad's voice was pure rage. "I looked into this Apex Solutions company. You think I wouldn't figure out it's you? I'm not stealing anyone. They're choosing a better product at a better price. That's called capitalism, Dad. I thought you believed in free markets. You're deliberately undermining my company. You're doing this out of spite because I didn't pay for your fancy education. No, I built this company because I'm good at what I do. The fact that it competes with yours is just a bonus. I'll destroy you, he threatened. You think your little startup can compete with Crawford Tech? I've been in this business for 30 years. I'll bury you. You're welcome to try. I kept my voice calm, though my hands were shaking. But you might want to focus on improving your product instead of threatening your daughter. Good luck, Dad. I hung up. Sophia stared at me from across our small office. He knows. Yeah. And he's going to come after us hard. Can we survive it? We're about to find out. Dad's first move was spreading rumors through the industry that Apex Solutions was unreliable and that I'd stolen intellectual property from Crawford Tech. Both were completely false, but some potential clients believed him. His second move was trying to undercut our pricing, offering discounts to any company considering switching to us. It worked for a while. We lost several prospects to his aggressive tactics. Alexis helped me navigate the attacks. This is when you find out what you're made of, she told me during a particularly rough week when we'd lost 3 clients in a row. Vincent is established, but he's also complacent. You're hungry. Use that. I doubled down on product development, adding features Crawford Tech didn't offer. I hired a brilliant programmer named Jason who'd been fired from Crawford Tech for suggesting innovations Dad thought were unnecessary. Your father called my ideas a waste of time, Jason told me. He's stuck in 2010. He doesn't understand where the market is going. Then let's show him where it's going. Within a year, we developed features that made Apex Solutions not just cheaper than Crawford Tech, but genuinely better. Our client base grew to 500 companies. By the time I was 25, Apex Solutions had 2,000 clients and 20 employees. We'd raised $2 million in additional funding, and our revenue was approaching $10 million annually. We were still small compared to Crawford Tech's $80 million in annual revenue, but we were growing faster. Industry publications started noticing. Tech daughter builds empire while father watches, read one headline. Generation gap. How Caroline Crawford's Apex Solutions is disrupting her father's business model, read another. Dad hated the publicity. He called me again, his tone different this time, less angry, more calculating. Caroline, we should talk. Perhaps we can find a way to work together rather than against each other. What did you have in mind? Sell me your company. I'll pay you fair market value, and you can come work for Crawford Tech as a vice president. We can merge the technologies and dominate the market together. I laughed. Actually laughed. You want to buy my company so you can kill it and eliminate your competition. That's not. Dad, you wouldn't pay $60,000 for my education. Now you want to pay millions for my company? The answer is no. You're being childish, Dad said. This is business, not personal. You made it personal when you told me I wasn't worth investing in because I'm a woman. You made it personal when you controlled Mom's entire life. You made it personal when you refused to help Sophia. So no, I'm not selling to you. You'll regret this. I regret wasting 5 years being angry at you. Now I'm just focused on building something great. After I hung up, Sophia hugged me. That was amazing. But he's going to escalate. She was right. Dad hired lawyers to look for any legal way to shut us down. They found nothing. I'd been scrupulously careful to ensure Apex Solutions was completely independent of anything related to Crawford Tech. Then he tried a different approach. He called Mom and demanded she convince me to sell or he'd divorce her and leave her with nothing. Mom called me crying. Caroline, I can't survive on my own. I have no money, no skills, nowhere to go. Please, can't you just? Mom, I'll take care of you. If he divorces you, you'll move in with me. I'll support you. You don't need him. But I'm scared. I know. But you've been scared for 30 years. Don't let him use you against me. Mom didn't convince me to sell, so Dad went through with his threat. After 28 years of marriage, he filed for divorce. His lawyers fought to give Mom as little as possible, but California law protected her. She ended up with half their assets, including half the value of their house, half their retirement accounts, and spousal support. It wasn't generous, but it was enough for her to survive independently for the first time since she'd gotten married at 22. Mom moved into a small condo near our office. She was terrified at first, having never paid her own bills or managed her own life. Sophia and I helped her set up bank accounts, showed her how to pay bills online, and supported her through the transition. "I should have done this 20 years ago," Mom said one night over dinner. "I wasted so much of my life being afraid of him." "You're free now," I told her. "And you're only 50. You have half your life left to figure out who you want to be." She started taking classes at the community college. Business management, of all things. "I want to understand what you girls do," she explained. "I want to be smart like you." Meanwhile, Apex Solutions kept growing. By my 27th birthday, we had 5,000 clients and 60 employees. Our annual revenue hit $30 million. We were profitable, growing, and starting to genuinely threaten Crawford Tech's market dominance. Industry analysts began comparing us directly. Apex Solutions' growth trajectory suggests they could overtake Crawford Tech in market share within 5 years, read one report. Dad made one more attempt to stop me. He convinced Marcus to reach out, playing the family card. "Caroline, can we meet for coffee?" Marcus called, his voice uncharacteristically humble. "I want to talk about the family situation." I met him, curious what angle Dad was playing now. Marcus showed up looking uncomfortable in an expensive suit that didn't fit his personality. "Dad's really stressed about your company," Marcus began. "It's affecting his health. The divorce, the business competition, all of it. Mom's worried he's going to have a heart attack." "Mom left him. She's not worried about him anymore." "Okay, but I'm worried. He's my dad. Can't you just back off a little? Maybe focus on different markets so you're not directly competing." I studied my brother across the table. Marcus had been handed everything: education, job opportunities, Dad's approval. He'd coasted through life on privilege and still barely functioned at Crawford Tech. "Marcus, do you know how much student loan debt I have?" "No. $120,000. I'm still paying it off." "Do you know how much debt you have from your MBA?" "None. Dad paid for it." "Exactly. Dad chose to invest in you and not in me or Sophia because we're women. He told us we weren't worth it. So no, I'm not going to back off to protect his feelings. I built this company despite him, and I'm going to keep building it." "You're being vindictive." "I'm being successful. There's a difference." I stood up. If Dad's stressed, maybe he should retire and let someone competent run Crawford Tech, someone like, well, definitely not you. It was harsh, but Marcus had never once stood up for Sophia or me. He'd sat silently while Dad destroyed our family, benefiting from our exclusion. I was done being nice to him. The turning point came when I was 28. A major corporation, one of Crawford Tech's flagship clients representing $15 million in annual revenue, put out a request for proposals. They were unhappy with Crawford Tech's service and wanted to explore alternatives. We weren't usually big enough to compete for enterprise clients, but Alexis encouraged me to try. "You've built something sophisticated enough now," she said. "And you have something Crawford Tech doesn't, a CEO who actually understands customer service." I spent 2 months preparing our proposal. We offered better features, better pricing, and better support than Crawford Tech. We emphasized our customer satisfaction ratings, which were 95% compared to Crawford Tech's 70%. The presentation was in front of their board of directors. As I walked into the conference room, I saw Dad sitting at the table. He was there representing Crawford Tech, fighting to keep their business. When he saw me, his face went pale. "Gentlemen," the CEO said, "I believe you all know Vincent Crawford from Crawford Tech Solutions. And this is Caroline Crawford from Apex Solutions." "My daughter," Dad said through gritted teeth. "How interesting," the CEO replied, looking between us. The presentation was surreal. Dad went first, giving a polished but generic pitch about Crawford Tech's 30 years of experience and established track record. He was confident, dismissive of any competition. Then it was my turn. I focused on their specific needs, demonstrated our software's superior features, and showed case studies of clients who'd switched from Crawford Tech and seen immediate improvements in productivity. When the Q&A began, Dad tried to undermine me. With all respect, Apex Solutions is still a young company. They don't have the stability or experience to handle an enterprise client of your size. Actually, I responded calmly, we've successfully onboarded 3 enterprise clients in the past year, all of whom have reported higher satisfaction than they had with their previous providers. And our growth rate indicates we're not just stable, we're thriving. One board member asked, "This is an unusual situation, having a father and daughter competing for the same contract. Mr. Crawford, how do you feel about your daughter as a competitor?" Dad's face turned red. "My personal feelings are irrelevant. This is business." "And yet," I interjected, "my father's approach to business is why Apex Solutions exists. He believed certain markets and certain people weren't worth his time or investment. I built my company to serve those overlooked markets and to prove that his limited vision was a mistake." The room went silent. The CEO looked fascinated. "Can you elaborate on that?" "My father refused to pay for my college education because he didn't believe women were worth investing in. He told me I'd just get married and waste the education. I graduated Stanford with honors and over $100,000 in debt. I built Apex Solutions to prove that his assessment was wrong, and to build a company with values completely opposite to his." Dad stood up abruptly. "This is inappropriate. She's trying to make this personal when it should be about which company provides better service." "Sit down, Vincent," the CEO said quietly. "I asked her a question, and I want to hear her answer." I continued. "At Apex Solutions, we believe in investing in people regardless of gender. 40% of our leadership team is women. We believe in serving clients others overlook. We believe in innovation over tradition. These aren't just values, they're business strategies that work. Our client retention rate and satisfaction scores prove it." After we left, Alexis called me immediately. "That was incredible. Risky, but incredible. You either just won that contract or destroyed any chance of getting it." "I know. But I was tired of pretending he's just another competitor. He's the reason I built this company." 2 weeks later, we got the call. We'd won the contract. $15 million in annual revenue, the largest client in Apex Solutions history. The CEO told me later why they'd chosen us. "Your software was better, your proposal was better, and frankly, your integrity impressed us. Anyone who can build what you built despite the obstacles you faced is someone we want to work with." The news hit the industry publications immediately. Apex Solutions wins major enterprise client from Crawford Tech, read the headlines. Daughter's company defeats father's in billion-dollar battle. Dad's response was to fire Marcus. The official reason was restructuring, but everyone knew the truth. Dad blamed Marcus for losing the client, even though Marcus had nothing to do with the presentations. Marcus called me, angry. "Are you happy now? You got Dad's biggest client, and I lost my job. You've destroyed our family." "I didn't destroy our family. Dad did that when he decided his daughters were worthless. You're collateral damage of his bad management decisions. You could hire me at Apex Solutions." I laughed bitterly. "You spent your whole life benefiting from Dad's favoritism while Sophia and I got nothing. Now you want me to rescue you? No." By my 30th birthday, Apex Solutions had grown to $60 million in annual revenue, nearly equal to Crawford Tech. We had 15,000 clients, 300 employees, and were profitable. I'd paid off my student loans. I'd helped Sophia graduate college debt-free. I'd secured Mom's financial future. And I'd built a company that was everything Crawford Tech wasn't: innovative, customer-focused, and ethical. Dad called me one last time. His voice was different, defeated, old. "Caroline, I need to tell you something. Crawford Tech is being acquired. A private equity firm made an offer I can't refuse. They're buying the company and I'm retiring." "Congratulations on your retirement," I said neutrally. "I wanted you to hear it from me before it hits the news. I also wanted to say." He paused for a long time. "I was wrong about you. About Sophia. I let my own biases destroy my relationship with my daughters, and I lost everything because of it." "Yes, you did. Can you forgive me?" I thought about it honestly. "I don't know." "You didn't just refuse to pay for college, Dad. You told me I wasn't worth investing in because of my gender. You controlled Mom's entire life. You pitted your children against each other. Those aren't just mistakes, those were deliberate choices. I know, Dad said quietly. I was raised in a different time, with different values. But that's not an excuse. I was cruel to you and your sister, and I can't undo that. No, you can't. But I can tell you what I've learned from building Apex Solutions. Success isn't about crushing your competition or controlling everyone around you. It's about building something valuable and treating people with respect. Your company's being acquired because you failed to innovate and alienated your clients. Mine is thriving because I did the opposite. You built something better than I ever did. I know. There was a long silence. Finally, Dad said, I'm proud of you. I know I don't have the right to be, and you don't need my approval. But I'm proud of the person you became despite me. Thank you for saying that. But I didn't become successful despite you. I became successful because of you. Your refusal to support me taught me that I couldn't rely on anyone but myself. Your low expectations gave me something to prove. Your sexism showed me exactly the kind of leader I didn't want to be. After we hung up, I sat in my office overlooking San Francisco, reflecting on the journey. 10 years ago, I'd stood in my childhood home holding a Stanford acceptance letter and hearing my father say I wasn't worth investing in. Now I was CEO of a company worth over $100 million. I had hundreds of employees who depended on me. I had clients who trusted me. I had built something meaningful from nothing. Sophia came into my office. She was now our VP of Business Development, brilliant and capable, everything Dad had said women couldn't be. Was that Dad? She asked. Yeah. Crawford Tech is being acquired. He's retiring. How do you feel? Honestly? I don't feel much of anything. I stopped needing his approval years ago. Sophia sat down across from me. You know what's crazy? If he'd paid for our education and supported us, we probably would have been grateful and eventually ended up working for Crawford Tech. By refusing to invest in us, he created his own competition. The ultimate self-fulfilling prophecy, I agreed. He thought women weren't worth investing in, so he didn't invest in us. We proved him wrong by building something bigger than he ever imagined. That evening, I had dinner with Mom, Sophia, and Alexis. We'd become our own family, built on mutual support instead of control and favoritism. To Caroline, Alexis raised her glass. Who turned a $100,000 investment into a $100 million company. And more importantly, who proved that the best revenge is massive success. To all of us, I corrected. Mom, you gave me that first $5,000 when you had almost nothing. Sophia, you believed in me when I was just starting. Alexis, you took a chance on me when I had nothing but an idea and determination. I didn't build Apex Solutions alone. Mom started crying. I'm so proud of both my daughters. I'm sorry I didn't protect you from your father. I should have left him years ago. You left him eventually, Sophia said. And now you're taking business classes and learning to be independent. It's never too late. The next week, the acquisition of Crawford Tech was announced publicly. The purchase price was $80 million. Dad walked away wealthy but defeated, his company absorbed into a larger corporation. Meanwhile, venture capital firms were approaching me with acquisition offers for Apex Solutions. The highest was $200 million. I turned them all down. Why won't you sell? Alexis asked during a board meeting. You'd walk away with over $100 million personally. You could retire at 30. Because this isn't about money anymore, I explained. It's about building something that matters. Apex Solutions isn't just a company, it's proof that my father was wrong about everything. About me, about Sophia, about women in business, about what constitutes success. 5 years later, at 35, I took Apex Solutions public. The IPO valued the company at $500 million. My personal net worth exceeded $200 million. The day of the IPO, I stood on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Sophia, Mom, and Alexis. As I rang the opening bell, I thought about that 18-year-old girl holding a Stanford acceptance letter, being told she wasn't worth investing in. I thought about every late night studying, every double shift at part-time jobs, every moment I wanted to give up but didn't. I thought about my father saying women would waste their education. The stock opened at $50 a share and closed the day at 73. That evening, I got a text from Dad. Just 3 words, "You proved me wrong." I typed a response, "I proved myself right." There's a difference. My father refused to pay for me and my little sister's tuitions and forbid my mother from supporting us. He said we weren't worth investing in because we were women. Then I became the top CEO of a company that made his life's work look small. I became living proof that his sexism cost him everything: his family, his business dominance, and the relationship with 2 daughters who turned out to be more capable than he ever imagined. But the real victory wasn't the money or the success. It was knowing that I'd built something meaningful, treated people with respect, and created opportunities for others the way I wish someone had created them for me. Dad was wrong about me. And I spent 10 years proving it, not to him but to myself.